Imagine waking up one morning and hearing that your country's leader has been overthrown while he was on a trip abroad. No warning, no election. It's just a sudden announcement on the radio. That is exactly what happened in Ghana in 1966. The man who led that overthrow was Emmanuel Kwasi Kotoka. The leader he removed from power was Ghana's first president, Kwame Nkrumah. But why did this happen? Was it purely political, or was there more behind the scenes? In this video, we're breaking down what led to the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah, how the coup actually happened, and how it changed Ghana, and even Africa. Plus some fast African facts most people don't know about this historic moment. Fast fact. Ghana became the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence from colonial rule in 1957. And the man leading that movement was Kwame Nkrumah. He quickly became one of the most influential leaders in Africa. At the time, many African countries were still under colonial rule. Nkrumah was pushing for African unity. Ghana was seen as a symbol of hope across the continent. But by the early 1960s, things inside Ghana were changing, and not everyone was happy. Several issues began to create tension in the country. Fast fact. By 1964, Ghana had become a one-party state under Nkrumah's government. This meant only one political party was allowed. Opposition was limited. Critics were sometimes detained. At the same time, the economy was struggling. Some major projects were expensive. Prices of key exports like cocoa were fluctuating globally. Many citizens still supported Nkrumah, but inside the military and government, dissatisfaction was growing. And this is where Emmanuel Kwasi Kotoka enters the story. Fast fact. Kotoka was a senior officer in the Ghana Armed Forces. He had served in international missions and had strong influence within sections of the military. Some military officers believed the country needed a change in leadership.
How the government was becoming too centralized?
Ghana's direction needed to shift. Whether people agreed or disagreed, the tension was real. And the moment came in February 1966. Here's one of the most surprising parts of the story. Kwame Nkrumah was not even in Ghana when the coup happened. Fast fact. At the time, Nkrumah was on a diplomatic trip to Asia, working on peace efforts during the Vietnam conflict. While he was away, military and police officers launched what they called Operation Cold Chop. In the early hours of February 24, 1966, key locations were taken over. Radio stations were seized. The government was removed from power. Soon after, an announcement was broadcast across Ghana. The military had taken control. A new ruling body was formed called the National Liberation Council. And just like that, Ghana's first government was gone. According to statements made after the takeover, the coup leaders said their goal was to restore democracy, stabilize the economy, reduce political control over the country, reorganize governance. They argued that Ghana needed a reset. However, historians and analysts still debate the real reasons. Fast fact. Some researchers say the coup was influenced by internal political tensions, economic pressures, Cold War politics happening globally at the time. During that era, many African countries experienced military coups. So Ghana was not alone in this pattern. The overthrow of Nkrumah had major consequences. Fast fact. After the coup, Nkrumah never returned to power in Ghana. He later lived in exile. Ghana entered a period of military and civilian governments over the years. The event also changed how Africa viewed leadership transitions. At the time, Nkrumah was one of the strongest voices for Pan-African unity, so his removal affected political movements beyond Ghana. But even today, Nkrumah remains one of the most influential figures in African history. Many landmarks, institutions, and ideas across Africa still reflect his vision. Here are some quick facts many people don't know. Fast fact 1. The coup happened exactly 9 years after Ghana. Independence celebrations began gaining global attention. Fast fact 2. Some Ghanaians celebrated the coup, while others strongly opposed it. Fast fact 3. Kotoka later became one of the most recognized military figures in Ghanaian history. Fast fact 4. The event is still one of the most discussed political moments in Ghana's past. Fast fact 5. It shaped how future governments approached security and leadership. History like this continues to influence modern Ghana today. So now you know the story behind one of the most important turning points in African political history. The overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah was not just a Ghana story. became part of the larger story of Africa during the Cold War era. And moments like this remind us how quickly history can change the direction of a nation. If you enjoy fast African facts, history, and stories most people don't know, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because Africa's history is full of powerful stories, and we're just getting started.